We're back. All right. So you have students in your class that sometimes say, I hate that TV show.
I
Lost.
do. They fail. Don't try that in my class.
Great criteria for a teacher.
I do. I have students that specifically, because I reference Lost so much, refuse to watch Lost. You know who you are. Some of you are in the control room.
But, and I think one of the critiques of the show is that people say, well, they keep giving too many, they don't give enough answers. There's too many mysteries and more questions every episode, which I think the writers are obviously answering their critics in this season because they are giving away so much, almost what would seem to be too much. But there's going to be twists and turns. But I think the other thing is, too, people need to think of Lost, in my opinion, as a novel. And why would you want to know on Chapter 5 what's happening in Chapter 30? Why are you so impatient with that? This is a whole mosaic, as they've said, that's coming together. And I do trust the writers that they knew what they were doing all along. In fact, recently I read a post that said that the producers have actually said that with the Adam and Eve bodies that were found back in season 1, these bodies in a cave that were found back then, that when the whole show's over, the viewers will be able to say they knew what they were doing from the beginning. That there wasn't this, guessing game and stuff. Right. But I think that they are giving away enough, and I think you do have to start at the beginning. To just watch it every once in a while is kind of foolish. But that's what's nice about having them on DVD, whereas with Twin Peaks, you didn't have that luxury back then. Right.
I think that you've got two different imperatives going on. You've got what the audience wants and the creators trying to respond to the audience, because we're now living in the age of fan websites and blogs, and I do think undoubtedly that the creators and producers do listen to the fan community and respond in some ways to the fan community. However, I also think you're dealing also with this whole production industrial element, where it's great to say, you should have to watch from the beginning, but of course if you're ABC, who is trying to sell Lost and get people to carry it, then they just want to know that enough people are watching. So it's always this continual process. And I go back to X-Files. You saw it with X-Files, which is maybe X-Files was probably almost a decade ago, I guess X-Files started. Wow. I'm getting old, but nonetheless, it was a continual process of people saying we're not revealing enough, and then when they would reveal enough, the problem here is when they reveal it, the payoff has to equal the amount of time we've waited. Right. There's got to be a pretty big payoff when they finally let us know what happened.
Oh yeah, and I think it will be. I trust them that it will be. It'll be worth it. Plus, you can get them online too. So if you don't have money to pay for a DVD, you also can get them online for free.
And there's automatically going to be a limited audience for this type of product, because not everybody watches TV in a continual way. Not everyone has a DVR or TiVo that gets all their episodes. They want to be able to have some sort of just contact relationship with a particular piece of media, so that, I can watch an episode of Friends if I want, and then not watch it for a month and still be able to watch it and understand. And so you can, on some level, you can understand those types of people who interact with media that way, not liking this particular style of media. But I think it would be wrong to reject it just because some people don't like it. I certainly am not a viewer of American Idol or other reality programs, but I can totally understand why some people find it appealing and say, yeah, that's fine. It should definitely be on.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about some theories here. Dealing with just this season, too, what do you think about the whole second plane in the ocean? What are your thoughts?
Well, I believe what we've been told so far, that it was a setup, that it was an actual another plane with bodies that have come out of a grave. I know you've got a little more complex, with good reason, idea, but at this point, I'm buying that explanation.
Okay, well, and that's the thing. It's like, but who did it? Because Ben is saying Widmore did, which one of the things I was talking about with another student, our floor manager actually. What if Ben and Widmore are working together? And this whole thing is a setup as far as Ben saying there's a war and stuff. He's Mr. Manipulative. But that's the thing, too, that I like about this show, is that it does incorporate all this kind of metaphysical kind of faith and theology kind of stuff, but also there's and some universal kind of truths, but there's also these scientific facts, and there's so much science thrown in here. I mean, even the names of like Daniel Faraday, the physicist guy that's there. I mean, he's named after, I think, Michael Faraday, who was this famous guy who even experimented with some time travel stuff. So there's little clues even in the names. But yeah, I think here's my theory with the plane. I think that the plane was actually a duplicate, that it was duplicated. And this is why, because if you go online to
You're
YouTube,
a crazy man.
you think it's crazy, but the producers have said, and I think they're going to show this in the season at some point, there is a video on YouTube that you can go to. If you look up Orchid Station has this thing where the guy that's giving the orientation videos has this bunny in his hand. He's talking about this one station they do, and suddenly another bunny appears out of nowhere that happens to be the very same one with the same number imprinted on it, which shows me this whole time travel thing that has been almost perfected or was being experimented with, and it creates this duplicate. So why not the plane, when it hits this electromagnetic field, it shot a duplicate into the ocean hundreds of miles away, and that's why there's a polar bear that's found in Tunisia, and there's also one on the island because its copy was over there.
I think you're over intellectualizing this, because I mean, on the other hand, you know, any place you have a bunny rabbit, they will suddenly reproduce. So, you know, it seems that obviously he was sitting there and the bunny, you know, just had another bunny instantly. I think we've seen that in all forms of media, right? Like a tribble.
They should have chosen goats, or maybe he couldn't hold a goat, or I don't know. A turtle. Turtle would have been good.
That would.
Oh well.
Who doesn't like a turtle?
Or he could have been holding the polar bear. Anyway, but I think the Black Rock, which is that ship that they found in the middle of the island. Why was it so far inland? Because its copy was transported there, and the original one sunk, and they found the ledger to it, which was auctioned off later and bought by Widmore. Interestingly enough, I think he does want to have the island. I think Ben is there's speckles of truth mixed in with a lot of lies here, and that's the other nice thing about this show is there's no black and whites as to what's someone's altogether good or altogether evil, and there's that idea of redemption as well. So, well, any other predictions, or how do you think it's going to end, real quick?
The 2-hour season finale. I think we're getting a wrap signal, so I don't think we have too much time to go into that. So,
sad. Well, maybe we'll have to do another session soon. Well,
that's right.
Well, I don't know where they are, but maybe there's what?
Well, our floor manager. We've been given a tape here.
What?
I wonder what's on the tape.
Well, you said it's from Jeff and David?
Why don't you toss it in the? Let's take a look at it.
Well, maybe this has some answers, because I mean, either they got lost. Barry's a big campus. Either they got lost or something.
It is, and they don't have a great sense of direction.
Yeah,
believe me.
It's true. That's true. Well, let's see what this tape shows. Maybe it reveals some answers to us.
All right.